So we have some news surrounding Twitter and the QAnon conspiracy theory movement, whatever you want to call it. Basically, Twitter has banned nearly 7,000 accounts on their platform associated with QAnon, and they've also limited the ability for QAnon information for other QAnon accounts to spread on their platform. Basically, what Twitter has said is that QAnon is not only a conspiracy theory, but that its actions on Twitter as a website lead to real harm in real spaces off the digital map. That in real life, the actions of QAnon on Twitter have caused real harm to real people. And as such, Twitter feels they have a responsibility directly through banning, but also through limiting the organic spread of QAnon conspiracies on their site. Now, if you don't know what QAnon is, because if I look this up right now, a lot of people are searching, what is QAnon? Basically, it's a conspiracy started likely by one person, but it morphed into probably a network of people about 3 or so years ago that suggested that Donald Trump was waging an almost one-man battle against the deep state, against an alliance of political and economic and cultural and social elites that had secret rings where they committed crimes and they did awful things to children and the worst things you can imagine. These elites were all behind it, and Donald Trump was the last line of defense. Trump and his regular American supporters were the last line of defense between these elites dominating the world forever and a genuine, free society for free thinking people, which were the QAnon supporters. And so this has kind of morphed into not just a Donald Trump group, but it's been associated with all sorts of right-leaning to far-right conspiracies on everything from masks to, vaccinations and on and on and on and on. It's played a massive role in right-wing conspiracy theories, carte blanche, not just directly related to Donald Trump. You've seen some prominent people take the QAnon allegiance pledge, including in some cases leaders within police unions and within police departments. We saw somebody on Fox News with the QAnon cup behind them. This is not an insignificant movement. There are likely tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people around the US and internationally that believe in this conspiracy. I think Twitter did the right thing here. Look, I understand the argument that, free speech can only formally be censored by the government. I understand that argument. But I am someone that also recognizes that Twitter and other major platforms sort of have an at least formal responsibility to generally promote free speech on their platforms because they have an oligopolistic character to them. Nonetheless, what QAnon does is not free speech. It's a willful spreading of disinformation and hate and conspiracy. And when you cross the line from simply saying things, which may be right or may be wrong, and you lead to saying things with the express desire of causing harm and discord to marginalized people especially, that's when you've lost the claim to free speech, especially on private platforms, but maybe even with regard to the government. I think that QAnon crosses so many lines. It's caused so much harm. If you remember the Pizzagate conspiracy, which was basically that, Hillary Clinton and other elites, mostly within the Democratic Party, but just in general, rich and powerful liberals were running some sort of, secretive ring to traffic young people out of a pizzeria in Washington, and this led to somebody trying to liberate the children, and it caused all of this suffering and paranoia, and this was driven by the sorts of people that run QAnon. It's not just memes. It's not just people sharing lies on the internet. It's people doing that to manifest actual awful, deleterious action in real life. And so Twitter, I think, has done the right thing here. And I think other social media platforms should also look into this. Their platforms are being used to manifest actions that go against basic human dignity in real life. And so you want to practice free speech. You want to facilitate free discourse. But when that goes to the point of QAnon, I think you have to clamp down. And they've done that. So, this video might get flooded by QAnon supporters. This video might get flooded by the far right. People are going to try and disingenuously compare QAnon to Black Lives Matter or other left-leaning groups. But the fact of the matter is that while those groups aren't perfect, while those groups can do bad things, QAnon by design is a cynical attempt to radicalize people against human decency. Good riddance to bad rubbish.